Now, with a new chance at life, I won't make those same mistakes. My heart has hardened, I'll live solely for myself. Quinn, your niece has a terrible fever, she's burning up. Come back and help me take her to the hospital. Hearing my mom's words, just as in my past life, I knew I'd been reborn. I vividly remembered my future niece, Harmony, standing there, watching her violent husband stab me over and over. I'd always been terrified of pain, but even so, I was covered in wounds, blood everywhere, the pain unbearable, and the biting chill seeped to my bones. Taking a deep breath, I steadied my tone and responded as calmly as possible. Mom, if Harmony's that sick, where are Chase and Marla? Your brother's at work, and his job isn't flexible. Marla's with Tyler and can't leave him. I wasn't the least bit surprised by this. My brother and his wife, with their favoritism, had never given their daughter a thought. In my past life, when my mother had called me in distress, I'd left work immediately, driven back to Pinegrove County, and rushed my niece to the hospital. I stayed days to care for her as she recovered. When Harmony was discharged, the doctor told us, if you'd brought her any later, the fever might have caused brain damage. You were lucky to get her here in time. Thinking about how Harmony eventually repaid me for raising her, this time, I wouldn't get involved. Mom, I'm out of town on a work trip. I can't get back quickly, so you should call Chase and have him take her to the hospital. My response left Mom frantic. She ignored my suggestion about calling my brother and instead asked, well, how soon can you come home? I already knew Mom had a strong preference for my brother, but I never thought she'd prioritize his $3,000 a month job over her granddaughter's urgent medical needs. And now, she expected me to drop my own work trip to get back? I held back my frustration and replied, Mom, I'm far away on this trip, and flights are full. It'd take me 11 hours by train, and then 3 more hours of driving just to get to the county. Besides, this trip is important, and if I leave now, I might lose my job. And then I wouldn't have any money left to help with your living expenses. Hearing that my delay could affect her monthly allowance, Mom finally dropped the idea of me taking Harmony to the hospital. Fine, I'll wait until your brother gets off work, and we'll take her together. But when you're done with work, come visit your niece. I agreed and hung up, feeling icy inside. In my mom's eyes, looking after Harmony meant using the poor child as an excuse to drop the 3-year-old on me, claiming, you have a good salary, you can afford a nanny. Since you aren't getting married, treat her as your own daughter, at least you'll have someone to care for you when you're old. Years ago, I did tell my family I didn't plan on marriage. When I was 19, they'd pushed for an arranged match, but I knew marriage would mean a life revolving around a man and children, losing myself in the process. So I told them I wasn't interested and would focus on my career. Initially, Mom resisted, but when she realized marriage would end my financial support to her, she stopped pressuring me. In hindsight, Mom's kindness over the years was purely because I still had financial value. She never cared about me otherwise, or she wouldn't have dumped her burden of a granddaughter on me. Later, when I was 30 and considered dating, she convinced me to think of Harmony's feelings. Harmony, looking so pitiful, had pleaded with me not to leave her behind. I'd felt for her and, not being one for romantic ties, I never married. I raised Harmony like my own daughter, yet ultimately, she took my life.